Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Ben Shapiro, and it's titled My Critique on Apple Vision Pro. You guys, I'm excited for this. And if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Ben Shapiro has for us in this video.
Not liking this. That is terrifying. Oh my God, that is just horrifying.
Alrighty, folks, so today we're going to take a look at the Apple Vision Pro. We're going to take a look at the Apple Vision Pro. Yeah, we got one of them. I'm going to take this thing for a ride. We'll talk about it. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Birch Gold.
So it's based on where you look. That's how you select things.
Wow.
So look at a number, and then with your index and thumb, just tap them together.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Okay, so if I wanted to change the screen, then go like this, and suddenly it's a different. Wow. So now you're just surrounded by desert, and now I can't see any of you guys. All I see is that we're in the Mojave.
You're at Burning Man?
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty wild. And then if you wanted to change the actual view. Yeah, that's crazy. That's totally crazy. Okay, should try gravity or way of water or something. Okay, I'm trying to find something. I'm in Apple TV. They do need a better get out of the app thing. It's a little unwieldy still. They need you to be able to go like that and just, it goes away. Okay, I'll go to YouTube and see if we can play something. There's Daily Wire. Wild.
You can either type like an old person, or you can actually just look at the number and tap your fingers together.
And from the outside, you look like a complete crazy person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that's cool. There's something called mindfulness, so I'm curious what that actually is. So I want to see what they.
Hi, this is Jessica, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation on creativity.
That is wild. This is the most immersive thing that they've done so far, because it's an app designed for the thing. I could see for yoga or for meditation, it'd be amazing.
Can you think about your breathing in a creative way?
Stop. Can you give it a verbal command? I don't want to meditate anymore. Okay, they have something here called Encounter Dinosaur.
That is so funny.
Creatures in this experience can see you and may react to you. Okay, so this is terrifying.
Wow.
Okay, so they've got a 3D butterfly, and it legit looks like it's in front of you, here. And if you go like that, it'll move around away from you. Okay, so now it's opening up a window, and it looks like an actual landscape that you can walk into. Okay, so this is it doesn't want you walking any further than this. But if you go like this and you motion at this dinosaur, and then you smack the dinosaur. Whoosh. No, the dinosaur just wants to be friends. Okay. Pretty wild.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now another bigger dinosaur is coming. Oh boy. Yeah, that would be scary as all hell. That is a giant ass dinosaur. Not liking this. That is terrifying. Oh my God, that is just horrifying. It is amazing how your eyes play tricks on your brain. It's all fake, but it's right in your face. Wow. Okay, if that's supposed to be kind of what immersion will eventually look like, that's pretty insane. Yeah, that'll give you enough of a taste.
We'll get to more on this.
Wow, you guys, that was very, very interesting. And what are your thoughts on the Apple Vision Pro? Would you be using it? Would you be testing it out? I've been seeing a lot of reviews on this gadget, and one thing I can say is that technology has really gone far, and oh my God, oh my goodness, this is insane. And let me know what you guys think about the Apple Vision Pro. Leave it in the comment section down below, and let's continue watching, you guys.
This sort of groundbreaking technology in a second. First, we are experiencing a lot of global instability as we plunge into primary season. How are you protecting your family in the midst of all this chaos? So, this piece of tech is just unbelievable. On a raw level, it's unbelievable tech. The biggest obstacle to entry is obviously the unwieldiness of this thing. So I only worked for a few minutes and I can already feel the weight of it on the bridge of my nose, for example. And if you had it on your head for a while, it would start to feel pretty uncomfortable around, I'm sure, the ears. The immersiveness of it is totally insane. They're going to have to come up with some fixes for the calibration of it. For example, the calibration is pretty good, but not perfect. So when you're looking in certain areas and you are clicking, essentially, if it doesn't pick it up quite right, then you miss and you have to go back. And again, these are all bugs that are going to get worked out in version 2.0 or in further software updates. But as the first iteration of a brand new generation of technology, it's totally insane. It's totally insane. And when you see people who are walking around with the thing on, I think one of the reasons they're not going to feel quite as odd as they did, with Google Glass or anything like that is specifically because it is so immersive. Meaning you are in your own world, but also I'm able to simply talk to other people. I think that we have been trained for an entire generation in looking at screens and using those screens to obscure what's around us. And now the screen is basically transparent and all around you. And that's effectively what it is. You're inside your iPhone, or your iPhone is now part of you. And this is where things are going to get really, really dicey. So there are a bunch of impressive things about the tech. Obviously, the most impressive thing is the way that it takes advantage of your visual stimuli. Right? You legitimately, when you are in the landscape of Mount Hood, you are in the landscape of Mount Hood. You don't feel the sunshine and you don't feel the breeze, but that's all you can see, and it's fully immersive in a way that no VR that I've ever seen really is fully immersive. When you are being approached by digital dinosaurs, it's a little creepy and a little scary. I mean, the thing is like right there in front of you. And so more of those experiences are going to change the way that, for example, all movie making is done. It's going to be wild. I mean, that's how good the tech is. And this is only the beginning. The tech is only going to get better from there. As I say, the biggest obstacle to entry is the unwieldiness, which is why the next step of this is going to be making the thing less unwieldy. And the only way to make this less unwieldy is presumably when you start seeing things like visual implants, Neuralink, when you start seeing actual contacts that are created with this ability. And then you're going to be grafting things into reality. Like imagine the idea, like very simple things. You're going to walk into your house and you're not going to need a TV anymore. So that's going to be a piece of art or whatever you want it to be. You're not going to need art because you can put the art on your wall with the thing. I mean, it grafts onto the physical environment around you. You can basically just rent a room, never buy anything except baseline furniture and like actual useful implements like cookware. And then the rest of it will be just decorated for you. You'll pay $0 for it. You'll just pay an app and the app will place beautiful things in your apartment all around you that you see 24 hours a day if you have the contacts on. I mean, that's the direction this is going to move. It's also going to radically revise human communication because you're going to have access to any piece of information at any time in real time. So, for example, let's say you're doing a job interview and you have the contacts in. Again, I'm assuming that this is generation 1. We're talking generation 10, right? You got the contacts in, so you don't have this thing. And the person who's interviewing you can't actually see the contacts. And they ask you a question, and it's a knowledge question or a logic question. You're just going to be able to turn on whatever app you use for the interview, and somebody will build an app for that, and it'll just read the answer for you. You'll be using AI integrated with your daily life in a way that nobody could use it right now. You're not going to have to go to ChatGPT. You're just going to turn the ChatGPT app on. It's going to be running over your retina effectively. And you're just going to be able to read out loud exactly what the AI is telling you to do, which is a really scary proposition. It means that you're never going to get anybody's true thoughts. It means that people are going to be trained into effectively sort of wall-y obeisance. And you're going to get a form of atrophy, like brain atrophy, where you don't have to do any independent thought. You're just reliant on all the machines that you're imbibing from. Things like intelligence are going to...
You guys, I totally agree with what Ben Shapiro said here. People are no longer going to use their brains. They're not going to be able to think for themselves because all of these things is now right in front of them. Let me know what you guys think about this Apple Vision Pro. I know that the disadvantages that it's going to have is going to outweigh its advantages. One thing about this particular gadget is that you are going to feel the weight on your face once you wear it for so long. But if you have tested this particular gadget out, how does it feel? And would you be using it for long duration? Leave it in the comment section down below and let's continue watching, you guys.
Things like intelligence are going to go away as a sort of differentiating part of life. Right? Because you're going to be able to just access any piece of information at any time. Really, the intelligence is going to be how you prompt the best prompt. How you prompt the AI to give you the information, which will then be readily available to you here, and you're going to be able to just convey it outward. That's going to be the only differentiation in terms of intelligence.
Yeah.
You will also be able to be incredibly creative. You'll be able to make movies that you watch yourself or video games you can share with others. In terms of human creativity, it's going to be a step forward, but also in terms of the atrophy that's going to occur of, I think, baseline functionality of the human brain, it's going to really atrophy your skill set. Whatever you think of as a skill set is no longer going to be a skill set, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
in the same way that many people of my age range no longer can do basic calculation. They just pull out their phone and they pull up the calculator app and do the thing on their phone. In the same way, it'll be like that with reading. It'll be like that with writing. It'll be like that with basic human conversation.
Yeah.
I think that you could see how it could be really misused. There could be a really Machiavellian way in which it is misused. Like, how would a dating scenario go? You see two people who are single and they're dating one another. Is that conversation even real? Or are they actively cheating the conversation by essentially having two AIs respond to one another? And this could get really dystopian really quickly. I mean, one of the other aspects that you could easily see is people deciding that, unlike the metaverse where you are a widget or whatever you are, you're some sort of emoji, instead of that, what you could easily, because the visual cortex is so stimulated here, what you could see is all the filters that are currently getting better and better on things like Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, you could see those mapped onto yourself.
Wow.
And then presumably there will be a technology where you can voice that on others. So you could have a physical blemish. You don't want anyone to know you have that physical blemish. So you basically filter yourself. And then if that other person is using that app also, they will see the filtered version of you and may never see the actual physical version of you. Now, obviously the headsets prevent that sort of thing right now. But in the future, could it be that people are 50 and they got married 20 years ago and now they still see each other the way they looked when they were 30? I mean, you could see a legitimate reskinning. I mean, it would be like that, but fully accessible to everyone. So everyone is just youthful all the time, which, by the way, does disincentivize things like actually trying to better your physical appearance by, say, exercising. The only reason to exercise would be for health, not for looks, for example. You could see that happening. So we're talking about a reshaping of humanity's interactions on a one-to-one personal level. Talking about a reshaping of humanity's ability to see each other physically. You're talking about a reshaping of how we think, because obviously you're going to be much more dependent on the thing that you're drawing from.
Yeah.
And there are skill sets, I think, that go along with that. And there are emergent properties from those skill sets that are just going to atrophy and go away. And all this sounds really exciting and new and fresh, but one thing...
Wow, you guys, all of these things that Ben Shapiro has mentioned in this video really scares me, because technology will be the end of mankind very soon. I know that with every single day, new inventions are coming up, but I am scared for what this is going to do with people's mindset. People are going to become more and more lazy and dependent on these gadgets. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let's wrap this video up, you guys.
But one of the things that we saw when it came to the iPhone is that the iPhone created mass chaos in terms of the emotional and mental health of people. In one way, you could see this being used to better interactions with other people. In one way, you could see it getting way the hell worse, especially because virtual interactions themselves would suddenly transform. And what if the person that you're talking to is no longer... I'm talking about, like, I'm standing here and my wife is standing here. We're having an interaction. We're just, obviously we have a filter on. But what happens when you're living in the metaverse, but the metaverse is like the person is standing... It feels like the person is standing right there in the same way that dinosaur was standing right there in the dinosaur encounter that I'm having, and you want to interact with that person. Or is it a person? Is it just a bot? It's going to completely screw up people. I mean, like, the potential for this to screw people up is extraordinary. And what do you do about kids?
Wow.
Right, this is where the rubber really hits the road, because kids obviously don't have this technology available to them. They don't understand it. They're not raised with it. Like, we have an experience with the real world, and now we are introducing a fake world into the real world. What happens when you have a bunch of 10-year-old kids who are walking around with this kind of technology and they're raised on that? What happens when they're 8 or 7? When to go to school and manipulate, for example, all of the lessons that they have to learn, they have to put in the contacts or put on the glasses or put on the VR headset. You could see this being a leap forward for people who don't have, for example, physical desks. They can't afford that sort of thing. But you could see it being a complete mind F for an extraordinary number of young people. And the unintended consequence of technologies like this, I don't think anybody is thinking those through. I'm just seeing, I look at it, it's fun, it's really cool. When I walk around my house like this, honestly, you lose the perception of yourself being weird because you can see everybody else. Like, the only way that you would actually have a feedback loop of people telling you that you look weird is by them telling you that you look weird or making faces at you. But other than that, you probably forget that you're wearing it walking around, in the same way that when you're wearing sunglasses, you sort of forget that you're wearing sunglasses walking around. Especially, again, because you can pin things to the environment, so it just becomes part of your physical environment around you. It's wild. This will eventually become an incredibly affordable technology, not because it becomes affordable to produce. It's going to become affordable because what will end up happening is that you will be able to get it for free if you are willing to accept ads in your daily life. You'll be walking around your house and suddenly there will be a Coca-Cola ad that appears on the wall. And you're like, okay, and you just ignore it the way you ignore ads on your iPhone for any other app. Yeah, this is when people talk about the singularity, when people talk about the merger of man and tech, this is the first step toward that. We're seeing it in real time with all of its opportunities and all of its scariness. Again, in terms of economic growth, possibility of future development, the exploration of new worlds for human beings could be amazing. In terms of just crippling interpersonal reactions, in terms of crippling how you deal with your wife or with your kids or with the people you love, in terms of how you raise kids, oh boy. I mean, if you think that we're deep in our own sort of isolated bubbles based on the tech that we have now, wait until the tech is in your eye and completely immersive. I mean, that's atomistic living. And then, of course, there is the real world, and the real world does exist, and you'll be able to see the physical objects around you and all of that. But what happens when the barbarians are at the gates? I mean, I know this is thinking kind of catastrophically, but what happens when the barbarians are at the gates and you've made yourself so dependent on tech that you legitimately have no idea what to do? That's a very real thing. I mean, we see it with armies all the time. Armies will go smaller footprint, higher tech. And then you see barbarians who have like very basic tech and an enormous amount of brutality just rip through some of those high-tech situations, just rip them to shreds. And you can see that civilizationally as well. Also, when you're able to craft reality to your own whims like this at the push of a button, what about the harsh reality of raising kids? Right? The next generation. I can tell you, raising kids, difficult, very often unpleasant. But if you just don't wish to engage like that, I mean, this is like pure escapism. What, do you have to go to Tahiti to experience Tahiti? Maybe not. Do you have to have kids to experience, many of the other things in life? Maybe not. But if you do, again, it's so enormously transformative. I mean, it sounds like I'm overstating the case, but again, I see this as generation one. This is not this is not the final step. This is like the first step. If there are further steps along these lines, I mean, we are opening a can of worms here that I'm not sure that anybody really perceives. Again, the possibilities are a lot of unknowns out there.
Wow, you guys. That was such a deep one from Ben Shapiro. I really enjoyed this in-depth analysis of the Apple Vision Pro. It scares me a lot. It might seem like fun now, but the dangers ahead of using this kind of gadget is far outweighs the advantages. Let me know what you guys think about the Apple Vision Pro. Like Ben Shapiro mentioned in this video, this is just the first step into what is yet to come, because as new versions of this Apple Vision Pro comes out, new innovations will be put into it. And the more sophisticated this gadget becomes, the more damaging it will be to the human race. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I really had fun reacting to Ben Shapiro. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.